Hey, I can't believe it. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. All right. I'm trying to get settled down, get my clothes right, make sure I'm looking all right for the camera. Hey, everybody. It has been a while. It feels like, anyway, I was just off 1 week because of the holiday, but man, it feels like it's been a while. So I'm glad to be here. I have got a powerful month planned for you. That's the best way I can say it. Let me make sure my volume is cranked all the way up. Let me do 80 on this one because I got a lot to say. Choosing you in 2022. Choosing you in 2022. All right. So let me do my infamous introduction because I'm going to assume that there might be some people who are watching that have never watched before. This is a live broadcast, and it's a pretty important one for me. So, hello to all of my courageous queens and every single one of my courageous kings. Welcome to episode number 28. This is 28 of my weekly domestic violence awareness podcast. I am so excited. It is called Silent No More. I think you get it. When you're talking domestic violence, you know, with domestic violence, there's a lot of secrecy, there's a lot of fear instilled. And that's why this podcast is called Silent No More. So, my name, if you didn't know by now, is Angelique Pierce. That is my name. I am a survivor of domestic violence. I am an advocate of freedom and truth, and I am the founder of Ladder Masters Inspirational Leadership Group, better known as Ladder Masters. Now, I created Ladder Masters to fulfill three important purposes. Number one was to bring awareness. Number two is to break down facades. And number three is to build conquerors. Did you hear me? Number three is to build conquerors. Now, my number three reason being to build conquerors, it is for that reason that I decided to spend this last month of 2021 helping to build you. Because why, you are a conqueror as well. In spite of what you've been through, in spite of what you've seen, in spite of what you've been told, if you have been through abuse, you yourself are a conqueror. So I've created this podcast series. It is called Choosing You in 2022. I cannot wait to get into this content because I told y'all I'm a preparer. And when it comes to stuff like this, I get ready. I prepare because I may have this one time to talk to you, to get a message to you that is meant for your ears. And so here I am tonight. All right. So this is a 3-week discussion series, and it is designed specifically to help domestic violence victims and survivors live courageously in the new year when it gets here. That's what this is for. Now, some of you may not be victims or survivors of domestic violence, but I promise you, what I am going to talk about tonight and for the rest of this month, it could be applied to you as well. So just be aware of that. Now, I'm going to check these comments. I want to make sure that all of you can see me, hear me, make sure there's no issues. I hope that you can. I am very excited. So let me get my comment game together, pull up these comments just to make sure. All right, so here we go. This is a mind setting series. Now, my goal is to frame or reframe your thinking, whichever one is necessary. Now, that channel that you've been watching, that one that your abuser or the person who was your abuser had you tuned into, they turned it on for you, that channel. Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. I'm here as the person who is going to help put that remote control right back into your hands so that you can change the channel to what you want to watch and what you want to see and who you want to be. So, all right, let me keep going. Now, before I go any further, y'all know I do a prayer. It is important for me to say a prayer because some of this content is heavy and I absolutely need to let God into this moment or ask his spirit to join me in this moment. So I'm going to say a quick prayer. Please join me. I'll bow my head. And then after that, I'll get right into it. Now, if you're on here and you have not yet shared, if you haven't shared this post, please stop. Find somebody, tag them. Listen, I know y'all know a bunch of folks. Y'all got like 34, 5,000 friends. Is that a number? Probably not. Probably not. But share it. Tag somebody in this thing. Share it on Facebook. I know, just like me, you're a part of Facebook groups. I'm a part of so many Facebook groups. So share it to those groups. Tag somebody in this post. Absolutely do that right now. All right, so here we go. God, I come before you asking you to join me in this moment. You gave me this series. I know you did. I heard it loud and clear in my head, like I couldn't even ignore it. Choosing you in 2022. We're going to talk about what that means, but God, you gave it to me, so you know. Father, I ask that for any victim or survivor who is watching this right now, or in fact, who will watch it in the future, I ask that you really clear their mind, clear their heart, so that this stuff falls on good ground. These words I'm going to speak today fall on good ground, not on deaf ears, not on hard soil, Father. So I just thank you right now because I know that path. I know that journey from being a person who I thought life was good to being suddenly becoming a victim of domestic violence and can't even have figure out how I got there. And then to become a survivor and that whole journey of getting back to me and the new me because you're not the same. So, Father, I just thank you for this moment, for every victim and survivor of domestic violence. I just ask you right now, God, that you give them the strength to get out and the courage to stay out, Father. It is a big deal. I ask all these things in the name of your precious Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay, let's get this thing started. So, like I mentioned, if you haven't shared it yet, please do so. Please share it because you got friends and people that you know need to hear this message. And I've got a lot to say. So, I'm just going to get started. Let's get into this week's topic. Now, remember, I told you this is a 3-week podcast series, and it is called Choosing You in 2022. So that's the overall topic for the month or the theme for the month. This week's episode specifically is called Own Your Truth, Find Your Power. When you own your truth, you find your power. I can promise you that. So let's go. Let me start with the name of the series for the month, Choosing You in 2022. Why is that the name? Because if you don't choose you, then who will? If you don't choose you, then who will? That's an important question. Did you notice that the title is actually Choosing You in 2022? Choosing you, not choose you. Angelique, why did you choose the title of Choosing You? Well, I'm glad you asked me. All right. Well, in general, when you add ing to a verb, it changes the tense to the continuous, denoting that this is an ongoing action, choosing, right? It is happening over and over again. So it refers to continuously, repeatedly taking a certain action, meaning it's a conscious, ongoing decision to choose you because you are choosing you over and over again. So I don't want you to just choose you tomorrow, one and done. No, you must choose yourself right now, then again tomorrow, next week, next month, and the next year. You have got to choose you over and over again. Now, I will say this: learning to choose yourself, choose myself, is one of the hardest lessons I have ever had to learn, ever, even me. But after 6 years and 2 months of being in a marriage that went from amazing to abusive, I was forced to choose me, period. And on Monday, it was a Monday, December 18th of 2017, almost exactly 4 years ago, like we're real close to that date, right? I chose me. I chose me with tons of proof of the abuse, his abuse toward me, and with a mountain of tears in my eyes. I told my truth to a judge who granted me a protection order from my ex husband, my now ex husband. Him, yes. It was the best, most important decision of my life. Are you listening to me? It absolutely was. And my daughter's life. And my daughter's life. Why? Because she witnessed the abuse. Even saying it just bothers me. But I keep going. So I'm going to say this louder for the victims and survivors in the back. Choosing yourself is one of the hardest lessons that you will ever have to learn, but you have to do it. You absolutely have to do it, and you have to do it over and over again. Yes, indeed. So I keep saying it's hard, but here's why it can be so hard to choose yourself. Now, I'm going to give you a little background. There was a post on this, it's an app called Medium where writers, different people go and they put their own content out there. They write things. It could be a 2-minute read or a 7-minute read, whatever it is. But this author on Medium gave an awesome explanation of why it's so hard. Now, this author's name is Braver Hope. Braver Hope, all one word. So if you want to look him up, Braver Hope wrote, after all, for a big part of our lives, we are taught how to choose other people rather than ourselves. We're taught to always respect our elders, but we aren't taught how to respect ourselves. We're taught how to treat people first before we're asked how we feel. Looking back, choosing me was hard because I was taught more how to interact with the world rather than how to interact with myself. I love this. Oh, God, I'm gonna keep going. Choosing yourself is fighting for yourself. It is learning to walk the path of striving to be truly free. I hope you are listening, taking notes even. It is listen, choosing yourself. This is what Braver Hope wrote. Choosing yourself, it is brave enough. It is being brave enough to accept disappointment, even from the people closest to you. And I know that walk very well. Choosing yourself is being brave enough to accept disappointment, even from the people who are closest to you, and facing rejection where you least expect it. Are y'all following me on this? This is absolutely accurate. Choosing yourself is not just saying yes to yourself, but it is also learning to say no to the world and not feel guilty about it. Are y'all listening? Choosing yourself is not just saying yes to yourself. Sometimes it's learning to say no to the world and not feel guilty about it. No, I'm not doing that. No, you won't talk to me that way. No, I will not accept that behavior. That is choosing yourself, something I have truly learned to do. Choosing yourself takes a whole lot of damn practice. Woo! How many ways can I say amen to that? Choosing yourself takes practice. It's about having the courage to lead the life that you want and to strive for your real self, rather than holding on to a compromised version of who people want you to be. Ooh, ooh. Hit you right there, don't it? Hit you right there. So in my head, I'm like, you better preach, Braver Hope. You better preach. Haven't met this person in my life, but I was pumped. All right. Your truth, your power, truth and power. I don't know what victims are watching. I don't know what survivors are watching, but my goodness, I hope you are listening close, because truth and power are what we're talking about today. So let's start with the phrase owning your truth, which, by the way, does not mean accepting blame for the abuse that you endure. Can I just make sure I say that very clearly? Owning your truth, it does not mean accepting the blame for the abuse you endure, because you didn't abuse yourself. Someone manipulated. Someone came in and pretended to be who they were not. Someone preyed on you and found that little thing I call in the dam, because we all have it. But that person found yours and exploited it, found mine and exploited it. Use it against us, is what happens. But we're not the only ones, right? We're not the only ones. Let me keep going. Let me talk about me a little bit. I said truth, right? Well, let's get into the truth. Let's talk the truth. Truth is, I had no real idea what domestic violence was. That is the truth. I had no real idea. I thought domestic violence was only that physical violence that most of us see in photos or videos or even in movies like What's Love Got to Do with It? That's what I thought. Truth is, I certainly never saw my Penn State bachelor's degree having, Loyola University MBA having, corporate ladder climbing. I'm from Philly and we don't play that self. I never saw myself as a victim of abuse. Never. But guess what? The degrees don't matter. The bachelor's, masters, that stuff doesn't, the job doesn't matter. What you drive doesn't matter. In fact, that probably draws the abusers in even more, all that stuff. Where you're from doesn't matter. None of it matters. None of it. Domestic violence does not only happen to women who are unemployed or who live in the hood or who have multiple kids or who quote unquote need a man. Nah, y'all, if you think that, you've got it all twisted. All twisted. It happens to all kinds of women. It happened to me. And it happened to some of y'all who are watching right here. I want to make it very clear. This isn't about who's dumb and who's smart, who makes money and who doesn't. It has nothing to do with that. So let's just be clear. So, what is your truth? I'm speaking my truth. I had no real idea. I certainly never saw my, I've learned this and studied that, and I've lived here and I've moved there. I never saw myself as that person. And certainly as a chick growing up on the 800 block of Price Street in the Germantown section of Philadelphia, you couldn't have told me that some fool was going to come in and abuse me. You couldn't have told me that. Nah. And I married him and had a whole baby with him. You couldn't have told me that. You couldn't have. So what's your truth? What's your truth? I want you to write it down. I posted something out there for y'all to grab and print maybe and write down some things because when I'm speaking my truth, I want you to write yours. You can also write it in the comments to me. I want to hear from y'all tonight. What is your truth? What didn't you know? What happened in your situation? Truth is, back to me, truth is, I trusted too much. I know I did. When I look back, I trusted too much. And I let his circle, which was his family, I let them validate him. There was a lot of smoke and a lot of mirrors, and I missed a whole bunch of things. I let his family validate him instead of him standing completely on his own. Now, me, if you know me, you know I research everything. Everything. Ask my cousin Amber. I tell her all the time, listen, ain't nothing new under the sun. Just Google it. It's on Google. I promise you. What they say, it's on the Google, the Google. I research everything, but I didn't do my typical level of research on him. Gosh, had I done that, let back to truth. Truth is your truth. Own your truth. Own your story. I'm owning it. Had I done that, I may have uncovered the fact that uh he actually never even stepped foot into a college classroom. Never, never, not one day ever, never, ever, ever. That he was married more times than he had stated. If I had only done my research, I'll do you one better. That he was actually still married. Ooh. He was actually still married, not divorced like he said he was. While I was in the meantime falling in love with him, I found that out. Well, he was still married when I was dating him. Truth is, I trust him too much. What's your truth? Send me some comments. I feel like I'm talking to myself here. Send me some comments. Truth is, I appeared to be powerful at work, but I was powerless in my own home. My home that I bought in 2009 as a single, successful, professional woman became a never ending battleground as I lived every day in fear of my safety. I was fighting for my safety and my sanity, y'all. That's the truth. Truth is, I'm owning it. I remember it. I was so mentally and financially, spiritually, and physically abused that I almost secretly moved out of my own. I was going to try to sneak out, y'all. I was going to leave my own house, move out into some apartment somewhere just so I can get away from him, just so I could breathe, y'all. That's what I was going to do. And I was just going to let the house go. I knew he probably wouldn't have paid the bills. I could have told you who he'd have brought up in that house. I don't know. But I wanted to get out so bad. I was just going to go and let God help me figure out the rest of it. That's what I was going to do. So, what's your truth? Are you writing it down? Capture it because this is the moment. Write it down. Share something in the comments. Truth is, I'm gonna keep going. Truth is, I experienced a high level of church hurt. Truth is, I experienced a high level of church hurt, and my faith in the church was gone. Trust me, I could have cared less about stepping into anybody's church, talking to anybody's pastor, bishop, anybody. I could have cared less. Could have cared less. So I'm a Christian woman, y'all. I am a Christian woman. And I was taught that my marriage was my first ministry. How many of y'all heard that? My marriage is my first ministry. So when something's going wrong, when it's going off the rails, that praying, fasting, and counseling are the actions that we take when our marriage is struggling. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do. But at that time, I didn't know that there was a such thing as spiritual abuse. God, have you heard this? It's a real thing. Spiritual abuse. So I didn't know that my faith was his playground just because I believed. And he knew what I believed. He knew exactly how to twist that and turn that to his advantage. Manipulation, abuse. I just, it still makes me sick. My faith was a huge part of what made him successful at abusing me. I'm just going to say that. And because his family knew about his abusive past, but never warned me about him, never protected me or my daughter from him, I completely lost faith and respect for the church. Not God, but the church. It took me a long time before I would ever walk into another church. And I felt like I had no place to go. I was down here in the Carolinas, my family's up north, and all I who I got. That was a real bad situation to be in. But even that was orchestrated. But you want to talk about some serious hurt? Yeah, I still feel it today. You could probably tell. I still feel it today. It's a real thing for me. Let's own our truth. Let's own it, right? We have to start there. Owning your truth is a part of finding your power. I promise you. So I'm gonna keep going. Truth is, I felt like I failed as a mom. I only got one baby, one chance, right? And I felt like I failed as a mom because I should have picked a better dad for my daughter. That's how I felt like I failed. Now, I'm getting deep into this thing, y'all. So if you haven't yet shared this, if you haven't gotten to one of your Facebook groups and just said, hey, watch this, I need you to do it right now. If you haven't tagged somebody in it just yet, do that right now. Hit those comments and tag somebody into this because it's getting really deep. And I need this message of choosing you in 2022. We have got to prepare now for what's to come next year. Choosing you in 2022, owning your truth. If you own your truth, you will find your power. All right. Truth is, I felt like I failed as a mom because I should have picked a better dad for my one and only daughter. My daughter witnessed my abuse. She heard plenty of it. She was present the first time he put his hands on me. She heard and remembers all the yelling. She saw the police more times than any child her age should have. That is the truth. Truth is, I felt like I failed her. And let me say this, still bothers me to even think about it. Truth is, he included her in my abuse, meaning he would speak directly to her about me while he was verbally abusing me. Yep. Yet he had the parental power to keep me from getting her into counseling once I got away from him. Did you hear what I said? So now I'm away and I want to make sure she gets counseling for what she's been through. And do you understand that the courts, for a person, for a man who consented to, admitted to the fact that he abused me in writing, still somehow had the right to keep my daughter from getting counseling. Truth is, I felt like I failed her as a mom because I should have never put her in that situation, right? Let's talk our truth. I didn't get us out of that until she was 4 years old. And the truth is, I do. I still have moments when I think to myself, I wish I would have gotten us out sooner. I wish I would have gotten us out sooner because then maybe she wouldn't remember or remember as much as she does. Now, don't get me wrong. Y'all know my pumpkin. She off the thing, funny, smart, and all that. But don't for a second think that she doesn't have memories. Not 1 second. Truth is, what's your truth? Are you writing to me? I'm not seeing any comments. Maybe they're not showing up for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm waiting for them. If you can shoot me a comment, because I don't know what's going on here. I can't see. I don't see any comments yet. So let me know y'all here. Say hi, do something. Say what up. Say hey, something, okay? Truth is, the best domestic violence cost me a lot. Truth is, I felt so stupid that I put myself in that situation. I lost my best friend. When I say it cost me a lot, I lost a lot. And one of the things I lost was my best friend. I told you guys the story before because he was successful at driving a wedge between me and her. My friend, literally my sister, who I have known since we were in kindergarten. He succeeded. And it pisses me off, right? Thank you, Norma. It pisses me off that he succeeded in manipulating me into thinking she really wasn't supportive of me, that she was, in fact, jealous of me and trying to shine ahead of me and all this stuff, right? He manipulated me in situations to me and situations to make me see her differently than I had seen her for the 30 something years we know each other. And I thought, okay, and I know she's forgiven me, but I still think, how could I have let that happen? Own your truth. Own it. I'm owning mine. This is a part of my truth. But when you own your truth, you find your power. I'm telling you, cry it out, scream it out, whatever, stomp it out. But when you own your truth, you can find your power. And when you speak your truth, well, I already spoke, so it don't matter what you say. Own it, speak it, and find your power. All right. When I say I lost my best friend, that was one of my big I got her back, y'all. Let me clarify. So I did get her back. Love her. Tanara is probably on here somewhere. And after so many years of suffering because of him, I wanted to call her so bad. But let me tell y'all, I thought that she would never accept me back. I thought I broke her heart. And truth is, I really do think I did. But she was right there, ready and waiting whenever I was ready. So God is awesome. He's awesome. So let me tell y'all something else. I almost lost my career. Speak your truth. Own your truth. Are you with me? Own it, y'all. Own it. I almost lost my career. The one I worked so hard for, school and pressures and all this kind of stuff. I was anxious all the time. I was losing weight, then gaining weight, and then losing the weight again. Didn't make any sense. My home was going into foreclosure. This home that I was so proud of that I bought as a single woman. I was a first-time homeowner, amazed by that, right? It was going into foreclosure. My credit was destroyed. Like literally, I remember this day, I couldn't even get an alarm system put into my house. I couldn't even get an alarm system. They would not put an alarm. God, I remember y'all. Y'all ready for this? Own your truth. I owed the IRS tens of thousands of dollars when I had never, ever, ever had tax debt before being married. Ever. That wasn't my thing. I like to pay my bills. They are on automatic pay. But I somehow ended up with tens of thousands of dollars of tax debt, paychecks getting garnished, all kind of craziness happening in my life. Own yours. What's your truth? Own it because we have to own it and speak it, find our power. I was always in court, y'all, fighting for me and my baby. I was always in court. It was terrible. I'm telling y'all, I never imagined being in that situation. I was in court so much that I swear if I were to get the final bill, if I asked all three attorneys that I had, I swear I racked up $75,000 in attorney's fees. Thank God for family, friends, sorors that helped me pay that stuff because it was crazy, y'all. The house that I was so proud of that I got as a single woman, you know what happened? The one that I was abused in, well, I had to sell it to get equity out of it so that I could take care of me and my daughter so that the two of us could survive and live because he was bleeding me dry through the court system and not paying anything to help take care of us. It took me forever to get anything from him. This is the kind of stuff. So when I tell y'all choose you in 2022, choosing you in 2022, you have to own your truth and to find your power. And it starts today if you've never done it before. So I ask you again, what is your truth? Are you still in the situation of abuse right now? Maybe you are. Or are you out of it, but you're still mentally in it? What's happening with you? Listen, I put that paper, I posted it out on Facebook so that you can kind of write down as you're going. What is my truth? What happened to me? What did it do to me? What did it make me think about myself? And then what's the truth about me? What's the truth about my abuser? I hope you're using that paper. So now listen to me. Listen, the truth is your truth, period. It doesn't matter what lies your abuser is out there telling or who they get. Family, oh, they are family, friends to help spread the lie, and even the next ones, right? The next chicks they get with help spread the lies. It doesn't matter what they say. I had to learn that. Who the F cares? I'm gonna avoid the cursing. Who the F cares what they say? Because they have no idea what it was. They all do this. They all lie. They get people to lie. They flip the whole story. Suddenly you're the bad. You were so horrible. You were the worst. And everybody goes ahead and believes somebody that they know has been abusive to other women and has been a liar all their daggone life. So why should you care? I don't care no more. Because they all do it to cover their tracks so they can make themselves out to be the victim, right? That's what they do. They make themselves out to be the victim so their next victim won't see it coming. Oh, she did this. She cheated on me. Oh, yeah, okay. We can talk about who cheated. We could go there all day, right? And where the proof was. We can go there all day. It doesn't matter. Wait, let me check some of these comments. Oh, all right. I ain't ready. First, let me start with Norma. Thank you, Norma. She said, you talk right. Here's my bestie, y'all, Tanara. She said, truth is, we going truth? We going truth, right? He failed you and your daughter. He failed God when he revoked the vows he made before you, us, and God at the wedding. 100% agreed. Truth is, I felt like I failed as a mom, but what's the real truth? That's what he wanted me to feel. But the truth is, he failed me. He failed our daughter. He failed God, not me. You want to say Tanara? You want to jump back on here? All right. Norma said, "That's right. Speak your truth. We all have to. You have to speak it. Truth is the bond between true friends and true sisters. Nothing that nobody can add or break." Norma said, "Period." Wait, hold up, Norma. Period with a T on the end. Period. All right. But yes, and though I tell y'all, I don't hide my emotion. This is not a place for faking it. I spent so many years pretending. I spent so many years hiding my pain, going to work, trying to look like a boss, trying to run this project over here and in charge of this meeting over here and make this money right here. Everybody have any idea what I was going through? You know how worthless that was? I'm tired. I will never do that again. I will not pretend for another person ever. If I want to cry, I'm gonna cry. If I want to laugh, I'm laughing. If I want to cuss at you, well, that's what's coming at you. But never again will I pretend for anybody. Period. Anybody. All right, we got some new comments coming in too. All right, Tommy. Tommy's on here. Tommy said, preach, preach. All right, so let me keep going. Back to the abusers. Truth is, they want you broken. It's what they do. They lie. What matters, listen, what matters is what you tell yourself. Whatever they say, Keep it moving. They're liars, manipulators, abusers, and con men anyway. And for Tommy who's on here, there's some con women, okay? Because he's been through it. What matters is what you tell yourself. And what matters is what the people tell you who truly love you. That's what matters. Because it is only by the truth that you store up the power and your healing can occur. Choosing you in 2022. This is where it starts. Owning your truth. That's how you find your power. So, what is your truth? Did you print the paper from off the Facebook page? If not, any piece of paper will do. Or you, what are those situations? What are those feelings that those situations triggered? And now, having done that, here I'll grab the paper because I'm getting to it. What they say on Color Purple, I was getting to it. I was getting to it. Y'all remember that? All right, maybe you didn't see the Color Purple. This paper, I posted this online. Let's see if I can get it right. Okay, choosing you in 2022. So over here, this is weird. It's a mirror image. Over here, situation number one. It says, "Please describe a situation of abuse you experience." The second section basically says, "What?" Can y'all see it here? You probably can't see it. Get a little closer. What does your abuser and or feel about yourself? What does your abuser want you to think or feel about yourself? And then the last question is, but what is the truth about you? What is the truth about your abuser? You are going to fail because you know what? Your abuser dealt in a whole bunch of lies and dealt and wanted you to deal in those lies and live in lie. Love movie. Oh, okay. All right. So owning your truth is an important part of seeing yourself and your situation clearly. You can't unpack it all until you admit to it all, until you see it all clearly. You can't get anywhere. You will never see yourself clearly or your situation clearly until you won't be able to unpack it all until you own it. You have got to own. And again, owning does not mean blaming yourself. Owning means recognizing, understanding, see it, breaking it down. You have to own your truth. That's how you find your power. I can promise you that. For domestic violence victims and survivors, getting out and staying out starts with you mentally breaking free. This is a part of that breaking process in your mind. Because if you can get your mind, that's what they do, right? The abusers, they get your mind first, and then the rest comes. They get your mind first. So if you can free your mind, the rest will come. Free your mind, the rest will come. Let me keep going. All right. So let's get to the story of your truth. Let's get to your story. What is your story? What is it? Do you fully understand it yet? And I keep asking you that because it is only by owning and understanding your truth that you will be able to see your situation clearly. Again, you have to unpack it. That is how it's necessary for your healing to grab hold of your power and then to thrive. I'm telling you, I know because I walked it, y'all. It listen, you got to stop and say, is the truth that I've been telling myself actually a lie? Like, oh well, I didn't really get abused because I mean, no marriage is perfect, right? Like all couples fight. Wait a minute. Was that it? Time? How many seconds we got on the stop clock? Time. Let's stop. All couples fight. Yeah, let's back up. People stop saying that because people start to think that fight means yeah, all couples fight, right? No, 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 no. They mean is kind of have arguments or disagreements. But when you start talking about fight, no, we got a problem. Abuse. That he would never intentionally hurt me. That's that stuff you telling yourself a lot. No, I won't accept that because he's not intentionally doing it. I must have really upset him. If had I not done this wrong, or if I'd done that the way he asked me to, he would have never been upset and that never would have happened. Okay, wait a minute. That is not the truth. That is a lie. Don't tell yourself of the lie trying to pass it off as the truth. We need the truth, the real truth. Because if you keep lying, all you're doing is regurgitating the mess that he has put in you and retelling it to yourself. And every time you speak it, you are hearing it again. Faith comes by hearing, right? And hearing by the word of God, not the hearing of the word of an abuser. Do not speak, do not restate the words of an abuser because you are hearing them again and they will continue to sink back into your spirit. Absolutely do not do that. Waiting for the old him to come back. Oh, well, I always thought back to the person he was when I first met him. And, I just figured that person's gone but he's got to be there somewhere, right? He can't just disappear altogether. Well, you got it backwards, boo boo. That person was never there. There was never an other person or an old person or an original person that was good. That was the manipulative wolf that was waiting to then show who they really were at the right time. So they're never going back to that person. Hear me. That's the lie. We need the truth. Finding justifications for behaviors. Oh, he's only acting this way because he's stressed at work, or he's just been drinking a lot right now. And if I didn't do this, done that, that's the lie. Truth is, let's get to the truth. Own it. Truth is that mofo like that every day. It doesn't matter if you do this or do that. He's going to do what he's going to do because that's how abusers are. Own the truth. Stop telling yourself the lie. Owning the truth is a part of choosing you. Own it. Tell yourself what's really happening to you. Admit it to yourself because if you don't, and you keep telling yourself the same mess he's telling you and trying to believe it and chew on that nasty, filthy, demonic crap that he's been serving you, you will never choose yourself and you will never break free. And you will be in this cycle until whenever. And sometimes whenever means you don't make it out. So let's not let that be you. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right. So, whoo, I got so much. I got so much. And I got 15 minutes to go. All right. Let me keep going. So I'm going to say this to you. Hear me. No, no, for real. Stop right now and hear me. Hear me. Okay. The behavior of abusers is calculated. It is a choice. Do not be confused. They are not crazy. They are not sick. They are not confused. And they are certainly not angry with you. Angry or anger would suggest that you actually did something to make them angry. No, you didn't. Because it doesn't matter what you do or don't do. Abusers are going to abuse. Truth. We have to speak truth. Abusers do everything they can to lock you into this world that they've designed of darkness and evil and shame. That's their whole game. And a huge part of how they succeed is that they manipulate you and they isolate you from anyone who gives you any kind of strength or any kind of light. They want you completely weak, confused, off balance, unsure of yourself, and broken so that they can take complete control of you, your mind, your body, your money, your relationships, everything. I can't stand them. They are manipulators and they feel no empathy. So just when you're like, well, I wouldn't treat somebody that way. How can someone else even treat someone? Listen, don't put you on other people because I have learned that the way I treat people, how empathetic I can be, how kind hearted I can be, that doesn't mean every person is like that. And yes, when the statistic says 1 in 4 women are being abused by men, I need you to understand that there's plenty of men out here doing it. And the crazy thing is that one man is multiple, he has multiple victims. That was the case with my ex. Listen, y'all, this whole thing with living in fear and somebody having total domination over you, somebody that has absolutely no empathy, barely any conscience, that will lie at the drop of a dime, that cannot be the life that you live anymore. It cannot be. Your 2022 has to be about choosing you. It has to be about you and what you need and what makes sense for you, your life, your career, your children. That's what it has to be about. So it's time to do what's best for your future self. Let me say that again. It is time right now to do what's best for your future self. But you got to start choosing now. Every time you choose yourself, every time you choose yourself today, you are helping that future self. You are clearing the way and grabbing hold of your power. Yes, you are. But you've got to start now. You can't wait. You got to start now. It's a mindset. All right. So I got to read this to y'all because y'all know I research a lot. I'm always researching. And I found this other blog out there, and it was by this organization or a person called boundaries.me. And when I tell you they nailed it on describing power, they nailed it. Ooh, baby. Okay. Ready? Here we go. Power is an important topic in work and in life. You can't live without power. You are designed to have it. As we have said, in the form of self control. Self control is power. When you lose that and you are controlled by others, you are rendered powerless. And that is when the slippery slope that disintegrates life and causes you to lose your boundaries, that's when it appears. We know what we know about the human experience of powerlessness is that it erodes functioning in all the areas that are important to having a whole life integration, your emotions, your relationships, and your performance. Decades of research have shown that the degree of powerlessness that people feel directly correlates with diminished functioning. Are y'all hearing me? When you are losing your power, you are losing your ability to function. Catch me on this one. And for powerlessness to occur, now this one was hard for me, but I know it's true because I'm always talking about the crack in the dam. And for powerlessness to occur, there must be a crack, a fault in the foundation somewhere. Whether the pressure comes from fear, because the pressure's got to come from somewhere to expose that crack. Are you listening? The pressure comes from somewhere to expose the crack in the dam or the crack in the foundation. So whether the pressure comes from fear or the inability to say no or a million other reasons, these situations occur when there's a soft spot, a hole in the fence, some kind of vulnerability through which people lose control of themselves. Again, I am not, these people are not blaming you for the abuse that that person did to you. We are simply telling you something that you need to know because if we don't admit to the truth of where that crack is, where the fault is in the foundation, then you know what's going to happen? Somebody else is going to come along just like your past abuser, see it, spot it, because they got an eagle eye for this kind of stuff. They will spot it and they will exploit you all over again. I promise you, it will happen. You have got to figure out what that crack is, what that fault is at the foundation. And we got to patch that thing up because somebody else will exploit it if you don't. It's a soft spot somewhere. And that's where they get in. And that powerlessness is how it happens. Ooh, let me tell you, this is hard to admit. It is hard to admit it. Hold on. We got some comments here. My cousin LaShawn, she jumped on. My abuser has recently been riding by my house with women on his bike. Don't underestimate the manipulation that follows the initiation of no contact. Don't fall for the trap. I choose me. Yes, indeed, cuz I choose me. By the way, I'm going to get to use that painting soon that I bought from you. I'm doing a speaking engagement soon. I'm going to use it. Who else? Powerful word says, thank you, Norma. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being so faithful. Tommy said, hit the nail on the head. I don't know what point that was, but yep, I'm feeling you. All right, let me keep going. So, what I just said, I don't know who it's for, but listen, y'all. I know what the cracks were in my dam. I know what the fault where the fault was in my foundation. It had a lot to do with my spiritual. I was first of all, I was too ready. Again, back to truth. I was too ready. I was that person that was like, nope, I'm going to get my degree. I'm gonna get my career going. I'm gonna travel for my company. I'm gonna do this, that. I'm gonna buy my own diamonds and buy my own house, buy my own this. I don't need a man. I don't need nobody. Right? I'm gonna get myself all together before I get married, before I have any kids. So I was a late bloomer, right? I had my first baby, so I was like 35, 36 years old. I got married later, a little bit, and I thought I was doing the right thing. But by doing that, I was too ready. So meanwhile, while I thought I saw something that looked good, I think I'm like magnified it in my mind that it was good. And plus, I mean, he came talking about Jesus, right? He was talking about Jesus. So what was I supposed to do? I mean, I'm just messing with y'all. I'm just messing with y'all. But you know what I'm saying? He listened to what I cared about, asked me 50 million questions about this and that, turned it all over his mind, studied me, asked me those questions again. Okay, Jesus, I gotta look like I got money. I gotta act like I went to college. I need to do this and do that and act like I got it going on, buy her this Coach bag and Tiffany this and that. Because I gotta make it look like I'm on her level. Did I roll my eyes hard enough? Okay, all right, because we know how to do that in Philly. I gotta make it look like this thing she's been describing to me. I'm gonna become that just for her for a little while. And then eventually I'll get her so caught up and then she won't understand. Well, why is he changing? It must be me because he's so good at the beginning. I must have done something wrong to upset him because how he's really the other person. So let me do it from this side. Yeah, okay. He was really the second person I met. Okay, all right. So woo, this is hard. Admit, admit it, but we have to. That is owning our truth. Never blame yourself for what someone did to you, but what you have to do, understand how the hell they got a chance to do it to you. That is what you have to do. How the hell did this happen to me? Because it can never happen again. And when I start choosing me over and over again, today, tomorrow, week, next month, next year, when I start choosing me, relentlessly, unapologetically choosing me, you will never see that crack in the dam again because I'm going to see you coming 5 miles down the road. Promise you that. I'm going to see you coming. All right. Remember, you have to own your truth to find your power. You have to own your truth to find your power. Okay? Personal power is the beginning of the accumulation of any kind of power. Did you hear me? Personal power is the beginning of the accumulation of any kind of power. And that personal power starts with a few things: containment, defining yourself, setting your limits, living out your values, having self control, freedom. It's all these things. That is how you gain your personal power. And it has to be maintained so it's not subject to power losses. It has to be. This is still the Boundaries Me group. They are just so good. Defining yourself and setting your limits is going to be the focus of next week's episode. Now, I'm going to ask y'all something. I want to know who said what do have you shared? I see a bunch of comments, right? I see a lot of stuff. I want you to take a moment and say to yourself, let me look at this chart thing that I'm back to the chart. I created this. Y'all see me? I actually put the little copyright down here too. Copyright, ladder match. I done made something, y'all. I'm so silly. I want you to put in your mind a specific moment of abuse you endured. Everybody that's on here, put in your mind a specific moment of abuse you endured, or just a situation you were in that felt abusive or felt off. What did that person want you to think about yourself or feel about yourself? I want y'all to comment for me. What did that person, that abuser, if it was abuse, want you to think or feel about yourself in that moment? What do they want you to think? Tell me, show me a comment because we're going to debunk that right now. What did your abuser or whoever this person was in this situation want you to think or feel about yourself in that moment? That you were what? Small, that you didn't matter, that you were dumb, that you were what? Ugly, fat. What they want you to think? Let me see what we got. I got a comment right here. Hold on. It was my fault. That's absolutely one of the number one things that abusers want you to think that it was your fault for whatever it was. I don't care. Oh my God! Just because I said that, it made me think of this one back to the situation that stands out in her mind when she was on the phone with me, and I must have just come home from work or I came home from somewhere, and I had a dog that wasn't even my choice to get the dog. Really, I didn't even want the dog. But the dog went about the process of tearing up my ex-husband's one of his dress shirts, right? It's a pit bull. He was a puppy. I mean, that's what they do. Y'all know pit bulls got those powerful jaws, and when they're puppies, they just want to chew and work those jaws. It's just a thing. Most dogs do anyway. and he tore up that shirt, and I was like, and she said she's on the phone like, "What?" Like she thought I saw a bird or like a somebody burglarizing the house or somebody was coming to get me or I don't know what I must have whatever that is. She was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god." Oh, you better not be laughing at me. And so um, I told her what happened, and she was like, "Oh, I'm like somebody's like, girl, is that what happened?" The dog chewed up his shirt, tore that in pieces, and I was so worried about his shirt getting messed up because it had like his the monogram something on the cuffs or something. And oh my God, it was a big deal. And I was so scared that he would think it was my fault that the dog chewed up his shirt when I ain't want the daggone dog in the first place. Now he my little buddy. Now I still got him, but I ain't want him in the first place. But yet I was so scared it was gonna be my fault. Everything was my fault. I remember the moment when I was dating him. And see, this is one of those signs, right? I was dating him, and I remember I told myself, "Why do I feel like I'm always in trouble with you?" I would have like taken that moment and magnified that moment instead of the moment he cooked me some salmon and asparagus and a baked potato, right? That was so big to me. But I wish I would have magnified that moment, the feeling I had in that moment where I actually said to him, "Why do I feel like I'm always in trouble with you? Like I feel like I'm always saying sorry." If I would have understood abuse and manipulation, Jesus, that is the main one. Your fault. That is the main one. And they want you to feel like you are less than. You are less than. That's the key. Because as long as they can keep your eyes low, as long as they can keep you questioning who you are, first of all, see, when somebody first of all you, they about to tell you off. Or down here they say they finna tell you off. First of all, I'm God's daughter. That's who I am. So my eyes don't need to be low because my crown is always on my head. And so I got to hold my head up to keep up that crown. That's what I know. And I know it so well now. So I thank God for those things. Um, I'm gonna keep going because I want to say a few things before we get off of here. Truth is, you were never to blame. Truth is, I am no longer afraid or ashamed, and you should not be either. Truth is, you are, I am not alone. That's the truth. This is where the power comes from. You have got to hear and absorb the truth. Listen as I keep going. Truth is, you, I define myself. You define yourself. That is the truth. Truth is, I am stronger than I know. And if I'm stronger than I know, then you are certainly stronger than you know. That's the truth. That's where your power comes from. I can break free and leave. You can break free and leave. I did it. And I know you can. And this session is the start of getting your mind in the right place so that you can get your plan together. And whether that's truly breaking free from the situation, like getting away from your abuser, or breaking free from the scars that he's left upon you, whichever situation it is, you can break free and leave. I did it. It did get better. It did get easier for me one day at a time. And for you, it will get better and get easier one day at a time. You are courageous and victorious. I am, you are courageous and victorious. I am a domestic violence survivor. And if you are in it as a victim right now, or if you are someone who got out and you're still questioning, do I need to go back? No, no, hell no, don't go back. There was nothing back there but what you left there. And we all know what that is. Nothing good. You are, I'm claiming it right now, even if you are in it, you are a domestic violence survivor. You are an overcomer. Now, I'm going to end this with a special affirmation. I'm going to end this because I want you to repeat with me. I'm going to say it first, and then I want you to repeat it with me line by line. Are you listening? Because we're about to close this thing out. I'm enough. Listen first. I pledge to embrace who I am today, to love who I was yesterday to inspire who I will become tomorrow. Y'all gonna say this with me. Y'all ready? Ooh, hell no, Moses. Hell no. I'm enough. Say it. I'm enough. Say it with me. I know I can't hear you, but you're saying it. I'm enough. I pledge to embrace who I am today. Now you go. I pledge to embrace who I am today. Next, to love who I was yesterday, to love who I was yesterday, and to inspire who I will become tomorrow, and to inspire who I will become tomorrow. I'm enough. You're enough. I don't care what they say because what they say is the lie. What you say is the truth. You are enough, and you pledge to embrace who you are today, love who you were yesterday, and inspire who you will become tomorrow. Are you feeling me? This series goes for 2 more weeks. It is continuously choosing you in 2022. This week's episode was all about owning your truth to find your power because that's where it all starts. Next week, we got something else. Next week is going to be called Setting Boundaries and Living Boundless. Setting boundaries and living boundless. I will see all of you next week. I am so grateful that you joined me. Don't miss the rest of this series because one thing builds on the next. And if you want to be ready going into next year, if you want to think forward to who you need to become and what changes you need to make, this is the place to start. All right, I'm about to sign off. I appreciate all of you so much. This was a good one for me because it gave me a chance to remind myself of how I got from where I was to where I am today. And I pray with everything in me that something I said will stick with you and that you will turn it over in your sleep tonight. And you will wake up with a new vision for who you will be. All right, I love y'all. I will see y'all next week, okay? All right, see ya. Wait, what's that comment? Hope you are on here. You know who I'm talking to. I don't know what that's about, Norma, but you know. All right. See, hey guys. All right. See y'all. Good night.